as a South African, you have almost certainly been in a Kombi, had family who owned a Kombi, or if you like me, grew up in one. In fact, I learned to drive in a Kombi. Well, it was a Caravelle. The first time I drove a non-transporter was at the testing center to get my license. So probably not the wisest thing, but I passed, so whatever, with great marks, I have to tell you. But the Caravelle has now become too expensive. You know, you're looking in the mills here, look like Millen, whatever. So the more affordable option is the Kombi. Okay, it sits below the Caravelle. And I say more affordable, okay, it's still obviously not cheap anymore, but it never was to begin with. Just the car prices have shot up through the roof. But you're looking at between 700,000 and 800,000 rand essentially for one of the Kombis that you might want to go for. So I'm in the trend line, the sort of middle of the range one, because all of them have a 2-litre turbo diesel engine underneath, but just in different tunes. So I'm in the one that gives you 110 kilowatts of power and 340 newton meters of torque. And I think it's absolutely enough. I think it's fine. If you want a little bit more power, get to the next option if you want to. But that's kind of not the point for me, because it's still just a fab little engine, fab everything, okay? I am all about the van life, because what's important to me here is that SUVs have just obviously taken over, and so this isn't considered. I never ever have anybody asking me about a Kombi. They always ask me about the SUVs within this price range that I'm talking about. And I think that you cannot find a more practical and versatile car than the Kombi. So if you're looking for something for a family, then, you know, and if you've got a few kids or whatever, sure, but this is amazing. I mean, look, it's not as sort of premium in feel maybe. It's not as easy in the sense of like, it's a big car. I think my pram just fell in the boot. Anyway. But I can tell you, once you're a Kombi driver, I think you're always a Kombi driver. I know my mom is. She drove one for years and years and years, went through them all eventually and loved them. She still misses it. And she drives an SUV now, and she always says, oh, I miss my Kombi. She doesn't require any of that space, obviously, but loves sitting so high and having all the practicality in the world. So what I love the most is the fact that even with the rear seats all in place, everything like this, you've still got an enormous boot at the back. My pram looks ridiculous in there. It's like this big. But you really could just use that and you'd be fine. Going away, going on holiday, I think it's fabulous. I'm gonna be a mighty king, so enemies beware.
Well, I've never seen a king or beast with quite
so little hair. Okay, so I'm going to tell you some of my real highlights about this car, okay? One is the way that the car seat is positioned in this car, and the windows and the window sills and everything, means that Luca can look out and see everything. In an SUV, it sits a bit higher. Like, so basically he's sitting like I am. So it keeps him so much more entertained. He's not interested in me up here and what I'm doing or wanting to play music or sing songs, thank God. He literally just looks out, what's happening. So nice. The other thing is that I can get through to him if needed. So, get through to him. But get through to him. So if my husband's here, if he's driving, pop back through. Just everything is in its place and perfectly in its place for a family. The legroom and headroom and all of that is obviously just, all over. So much space. And I love that this is cloth seats. I know the Caravelle's got all the fancy whistles and everything, but I love the cloth seats because, one, I feel it's warmer, it's cozier. I find it cleaner. I know that these are not as easily clean, but they're probably Scotch Guard and everything. They're easy to wipe off. They just look nice. It's more comfortable. It's a highlight for me. My video, I can say what I want. Oh, I just can't wait to be king. And look, I've looked at some of the reviews about the Kombi, and other people's reviews, okay? And because I like to see what I'm up against, yeah. And there's been comments about the fact that there aren't any sort of cup holders or storage back there, and that sucks for rear passengers. You can hold a cup or a bottle or whatever. You're fine. Or kids can too. They often have car seats with them in anyway. So I don't think that's a problem. Even if it's a transport businessy vehicle, do you know what I mean? Or a hotel vehicle or whatever. I think people are fine to hold a bottle of water for a moment. And the other thing is the air vents so you've got air vents back there, yay for everybody, but they're all controlled by here. Like there aren't any controls back there. Let me tell you, when I was a kid growing up in our Kombi, driving to Plettenberg Bay or something, if I had a control back there and tried to utilize it, my dad would have left me on the side of the road. There is no ways he would be okay with the kids fiddling with it and turning it up and down and whatever. He would have gone mental. I can picture it right now. So I think for parents, it's better to not have that. Obviously, again, as a transport vehicle, people can just speak up. Yoo-hoo! Can you please put the aircon on? I just think we're all becoming a bit spoiled, to be honest. This car is just the van life, and it's almost like a whole subculture that you should sort of, I don't know, tap into, because it's a great one. You can convert this into things. We slept in the Kombi so many times when we went camping. When I went camping with friends, we slept in the back, put that thing down, mattress in. It was so exciting. You can't do that in SUVs these days. I think why I'm so excited, it's like a nostalgic thing, maybe. It takes me back. I love the fuss-free element of a Kombi. I just love that it is what it is. It does what it does really well. It's a lovely drive. It feels refined. That is just it. Take it, leave it, but you should take it. Oh, I just can't wait to be king.